Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to the weekly watch list. You are here in Ben's basement, and I have a lot of movies that I would like to discuss. I've been definitely on a bit of a movie kick, as I typically am, and I've had a lot of free time this semester, so I've crossed a lot of movies off of my watch list. I'll go in chronological order from most recent to least recent, and the first movie that I'm going to talk about today is Birdman, with Michael Keaton, with Emma Stone, Edward Norton, Naomi Watts, Amy Ryan. The cast is star-studded. Zach Galifianakis. Honestly, this film is phenomenal. I think the cinematography is extremely unique. There aren't many cuts in this, and they film it in a way that it seems like it's all one long take, which obviously it isn't, but filming styles and the editing is so good that it really does seem like one cohesive shot, which is very impressive. There was also a lot of unexpected humor in this. It was a very funny movie, which I definitely didn't expect. As I said, the cast is phenomenal, and Michael Keaton plays a great role, but the supporting actors and actresses were really good. Edward Norton, I personally thought he was phenomenal. I think he played his role as a crazy kind of method actor extremely well. I really enjoyed Emma Stone. I think she's great in everything she's in, but great performance from her in this. Amy Ryan, if I ever had to cast a middle-aged mom, I would cast Amy Ryan because she's just so good in that role. Zach Galifianakis, always going to give you that comedy, always going to give you that Alan from Hangover, but this was a bit more of a serious role, but still some comedic elements. This story is just, it explores the character of Regan Thompson, his psyche, what kind of past their prime stars struggle with in staying relevant and falling off into obscurity and just being a normal person. And I think this movie was really, really well crafted. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 stars on Letterboxd. I enjoyed it a lot. 2-hour runtime. It didn't overstay its welcome at all. The first hour I preferred to the second hour. I think it was a little bit more funny, and I don't know, I personally like that better. However, great movie overall. Another movie that's been on my watch list for a long time is Mid-90s. And for those of you that don't know, Mid-90s is a movie about, obviously it takes place in the mid-90s. It is about a kid named Stevie, nicknamed Sunburn, and 13-year-old kid, and he picks up skateboarding, and he befriends this group of skaters, and it's honestly, I describe this in my Letterboxd review as just the ultimate vibe of a movie. You can throw this on and just enjoy it until the last 30 minutes, and then stuff really gets deep, which I wasn't expecting that turn. I really enjoyed it, but the first 50 minutes of this movie are just so cool, and you can just throw it on and enjoy it. The soundtrack is unbelievable. The Jonah Hill, you can definitely feel the Jonah Hill fingerprints on this one. He directed this. I really think the cast did a good job. Sort of an ensemble cast. I'm not sure who played Stevie's brother, but I really think he had a great performance in his limited screen time. The actor who played Ray was also very good. And one thing I learned is a lot of the actors who were cast in this are people who do act, but they're also really skaters and people who kind of did probably grow up in that skate culture, which I think makes this movie just that much more authentic, which makes it that much better. Overall, I gave Mid-90s a 4 out of 5. I would have liked a little bit more. I don't know. I feel like they could have introduced the side characters and kind of gave us some of their background a little bit better. We understand Ray's struggles, and we kind of understand 4th grade struggles, but I'll put him up on screen. I don't know if I can say his name without being maybe taken down, but I would have liked to see how he was raised and what led to him seemingly just randomly becoming a drunk and a partier. Because towards the end of the movie, he kind of just started to fall off the wagon, and that was a bit unexpected and a bit like, this is so sudden. This is kind of out of nowhere. But very good movie. I was a bit uncomfortable at points because Stevie's supposed to be a 13-year-old, and he's getting himself into all of these different scenarios that are obviously a bit past his age range. And I don't know if that's just me being a sheltered Gen Zer and not understanding what being a teenager in the 90s was. But that was really my only complaint. I enjoyed this. This is a short movie, only 120 minutes. Short watch, good vibes. Go see mid-90s if you haven't. Now, Oldboy. I watched this 3 days ago, and wow, I was blown away. I can't say much about it because a lot of it has to do with the plot twist, but the premise is Hodae-Sue, the main character, businessman, is imprisoned for 15 years. He doesn't know who did this, he doesn't know why, and one day he is released, and the movie is him trying to track down his capturers, the people who put him in the prison, and it is an unbelievable movie. It's in Korean, but please don't let that scare you away from this, because this was a really great watch experience. There's some aspects of... I compared this to just a boy version of Kill Bill, because it's a classic revenge story. There are some really cool action sequences. In that aspect, it's very similar to Kill Bill, also in the fact that it's revenge. He's trying to find who did this to him. That's all I'll really say, because that's all I can say. But I gave Oldboy a 5 out of 5. And I was really just blown away. The plot twist was wild, and the plot twist was something that I don't know the next time I'll rewatch this movie, because it's just that kind of plot twist that just makes your stomach turn. But this had really cool, unique cinematography. I really liked the soundtrack. The acting was great. The character arc of Hodae-Sue, unparalleled, unmatched. And then Lee Woo-jin, he's one of the most twisted antagonists and twisted movie characters I have ever personally seen. This is a must-watch. I don't know why it's taken me this long to watch this movie, but boy, am I glad I did. Another movie that I watched, this is a little bit over a week ago, but I wasn't able to make my last week episode, so I want to touch on this. I watched Damon Chazelle's fourth film, I believe, Babylon, 2022 release with Margot Robbie, with Brad Pitt, many other stars. This movie was a box office flop. This movie was not very well received by the general public. And I knew that going in, and I was a little bit confused, because this is a really, really fun movie. It's chaotic. It begins in the 1920s, and it kind of shows you the crazy partying, chaos, opulent nature of the late 1920s in Hollywood, and its kind of transition into high society in the 1930s, early 1930s. It follows multiple different characters that are in different stages of their lives. You have Nellie, who is played by Margot Robbie, who is striving to be a movie star. Then you have Manny, who I don't know who plays him. Manny, who's played by Diego Calva. And at the beginning of this movie, I didn't love him, but by the end, I thought he did a really great performance. Then you also have Brad Pitt, who's playing kind of an aging superstar. That whole character arc is really entertaining. This is just a crazy, fun movie. It is 3 hours long, but I really didn't feel the length. It's engaging. It takes many twists and turns, and it's just fun. It's fun. It's chaotic. And for someone like me, which I do love movies, and I love learning about how movies are filmed and the techniques used. This gives you a behind the scenes look of how early silent movies were filmed, and then how the transition from silent movies into talkies and the struggles that they kind of had to deal with. And it was kind of educational, but in a weird way. But overall, Babylon's a great watch. I love Damien Chazelle. I'm so excited for his movie with Leo that I think is coming out late this year, maybe next year. I think he is such a good director. The cinematography is always to die for. The soundtrack, while this one doesn't quite stack up to La La Land or Whiplash, this soundtrack is really good. And let me just put it to you this way. In a Damien Chazelle love letter to 1920s, 30s Hollywood, starring Margot Robbie, starring Brad Pitt, you have so many recognizable faces in this film, and I just don't know how that's not appealing to some people. And I don't know how this flopped at the box office, to be completely honest, because like I said, I really enjoyed this. The end of the movie, it comes so full circle, and the end of the movie was very emotional for me. It's probably emotional for many people, but kind of, I'm not going to give it away, but it was bittersweet. For as much as I raved about it, I only gave it a 4 out of 5. That partially has to do with the length, just because it's not that rewatchable at the 3-hour length. However, if anyone does need a 3-hour long movie, this is on the short list of recommendations that I would give. So, in this past, I guess, 2.5 weeks, I have seen my fair share of movies. We watched Birdman. We watched mid-90s. We watched Oldboy. We watched The Usual Suspects, which I didn't talk about because I'm just going to hold off on that. We watched Babylon, Django, Shawshank. Another one I'm going to hold off on. But yes, Shawshank was good. We rewatched Dune, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Dune Part 2. If you guys like the weekly watch list, let me know, because I like making this content. I'm never going to stop watching movies. So this is just my recommendations, and my letterbox will be down in the description if you guys want to check that out or add me on there, and then you can see what I rate the movies and my reviews. But that's all I have. Like I said, the Oscar pick video is going to be out soon. It has to be out before the Oscars. But anyways, I will see you guys in the next video. Like, comment, let me know what you think I should watch. What do you think of my reviews? And I'll see you guys next time.